Hi, it's Rhonda Fawcett from Mathemad New Zealand. I'm going to show you some tips today of using our alcohol markers, which are our Stampin Blends pens. And I'm using this one. Oh, it's not going in focus. It is light shaded spruce because I am wanting to show you how you can blend two different colors together, not just shades, but different colors to make a new color. So most of these blends come in all our colors that we have, but some, like garden green, we don't have. I just want to show you the components of the pen. So it's not meant to come apart like this, but you can get it apart. This one's got a little crack in it, which I don't know if, let me take this out of the way. Let me try and get it a bit closer. There is a crack there. You can just see that crack there. And therefore, this nib comes out easy, which means you can get into the inside of that. And I can refill it and put more alcohol in and more isopropanol alcohol and a bit of the colour. It still works, so just have to make sure the lid is on it securely. Anyway, if I use light shaded spruce and old olive together, it makes garden green. So I'll just colour in these leaves here and I'll just show you. So I'm using light shaded spruce over top of the old olive, and it's going to give me the garden green look, which will then match my DSP, the garden green that you can see in the designer series paper just up there, which when you use coordinating colours, which Stampin' Up is known for, gives a much better look to your finished projects. So just a little bit more on there. And this one here. So these alcohol markers are permanent pens. Whatever surface you put them on, it'll be there permanently. If you're not using any protection on your desk, it will permanently stain your desk. You'll get marks left behind there. So there we go. You can see how it's more goes in with the green that's there rather than having the light old olive that was there before. If you are wanting to put colour in some images on your envelopes, the best thing to do is to put a piece of cardboard inside your envelope first and then colour in, because otherwise it will leak through to the other side. And you don't want that if showing through on the other side of your envelope. So I'm just going to use light azure afternoon and do some stripes. This is a technique creating a tartan background, so I'm going to just create some stripes across my card. Now I don't like using these in class too much because my customers are not very good at being light-handed with this tip. This tip, you want to just not put any pressure on it and just let the ink flow out. You're just touching the tip lightly to the card. If you put any pressure on the tip, you're going to get the tip go all squashed and horrible. It's very fragile, that tip. So I tend to tell my customers to use this end in class, just because it's a nice firm end and you're not going to get that ruined. Okay, so I'm using light balmy blue now. Do another stripe the same. Maybe make that a bit wider. And then I'm going to use a contrasting colour. Like you could do a nice ombre effect with these by using, if I used dark balmy blue, light balmy blue, and the azure afternoon, you get a nice ombre effect going on. But I'm going to use a contrast, put a bit of green in here. I think I'll use the old olive. Just to fill in that gap there. And then we're going to take our colour remover, which is basically just alcohol, and going to take it down the page and try and remove some of this colour. So I have to go over it a few times, but it will eventually take that colour away and make it look a bit white. Do another one down here. You can see the white happening with that one I did first. Yeah, you do have to go over it a few times. It depends how fresh and new your pen is. If it's quite fresh, it should have quite a lot of the alcohol in it, and it should work quite well, this technique. I'll just bring that up closer. You can see the first one I did, it's starting to go white with that colour leaking out there. These other ones, given a bit of time, they'll start going white as well. Starting to happen down here now. So what I'm going to do is get a piece of A5 card, a thick white card, and fold it in half, and then I will stick my panels on. So I've stuck one panel on each side. I did these two panels with a 14.9 wide card times, long, 14.9 long times 6 centimeters wide, and I've just cut that in half and then put one panel that side and one panel this side, and then over the middle I've got 14.9 by 6 centimeters again, and this is balmy blue that I've just put over the top of both of those pieces there. Now I've got another piece of white card, and this is 14.9 by 5 centimeters, and I'm using the Be My Valentine bundle, and I'm going to just I've sponged a bit of cloud on the background there, but I'm just going to stick this on. And I've already stamped the little bee thing there. Actually, before I stick it on, I'm going to show you another technique that you can do, and you can actually flick your look, this is what happens when people are rough with their blends, but I'm going to use this to flick on some colour, a little bit of, there we go. I wouldn't recommend doing this, and I've seen other demonstrators doing it, but if you've got an old pen that's already fluffy like this one is, well, then you're not going to really do any damage to it, are you, if you flick on colour, because it's already gone like that. But I wouldn't suggest doing that with a new fluffy one. So there's a little bit of, it's like balmy blue, so it's very light, it's a bit hard to see. But if you used a darker colour, you get that nice spotty flicked effect on there. So I'll just put this panel across. And then we're going to stick the bee on. Also, if you don't happen to have the colour blends, like if I have got some dark yellow ink, but if I'm just starting out, I don't have every single colour in yellow. So if I wanted to do this bee in the same colour as what I used, well, I used Old Olive in there, but if I want to use a light colour like this Lemon Lolly, I can use my blends instead of using ink to colour in the bee. It doesn't matter if you go over the black a little bit. And then I'm going to just do his face as well. You'll see me go over the black here, it won't matter. So you can use your blends to do colouring in of your stamps as well, like a solid image like that. Now I'll just stick his wings on. Might use some dimensionals for that. No, I think I'll stick it down flat. I'll do the sentiment in dimensionals. Right, we'll stick him up about there. Now you can also colour ribbon. You can colour pearls and rhinestones. Anything really that you can use your blends to colour in with. So if I've used this ribbon is, what's it called? Frayed cross grain ribbon, and it's a retired one. So I'm not sure how long ago I bought it. But I'm just going to go in between the edges on this ribbon. And it dries instantly because the blends being alcohol markers they're great, and you won't get any bleeding onto your card. If you use normal markers, they'll bleed onto your fingers and card until they're completely dry, but that's gorgeous. Right, so I will put my label on. I'll put it on down here. And there's a card using some blends techniques. We've got the tartan sort of look background with the stripy whites going through. We've got our ribbon that we've done with the blends. We've got our little bee that we've coloured in with the blends. And there is a card using some different blend techniques. My next card I am going to teach you is doing blends on the coloured chalk technique. So I have done this in white embossing powder onto black card using the Reason to Celebrate stamp set, which is a new one out. And I'm going to use my blends to just colour in some of these words, and they colour in beautifully. The alcohol colours these words, and so you're just basically just going over the top of some of your letters that are already been embossed. It sticks onto the white embossing powder lovely because it's permanent. And then you can, so if you wanted whole lots of flowers coloured in, you wanted them on black card instead of white card, just use your white embossing powder and then colour the embossing in, and it gives it a beautiful effect. So just doing a little bit of a, not all the way down, but halfway down. Again, it won't really matter if you go over onto the black, it won't really show. So a bit of colour onto that, and then I want to colour in this card, because imagine if I did not have any cardboard that was pumpkin pie, but I wanted a pumpkin pie background. So I'm just going to do a couple of lines across there and down the side. I don't need to colour the whole lot because this is going to be over top the black one I've just done. So this white one is just a matte. I'm just doing my lines all the same way so that it doesn't look like I've got some lines going that way and some this way. It would give it a more even look. And now I can put that over top, and it looks like I've just put it on top of orange card. So I'll glue that on. Yeah, so whenever you don't have a colour that you're particularly wanting, if you've got it in blends, and I have got the blends in all the colours now, and I do use them a lot. You can just grab a marker. If you're going away, you don't have to take lots of cardstock with you. Just basically use your white and black, and you can do a lot with white and black by making your backgrounds like we did on that first card, by adding colour like this one. So I'm going to, I've embossed this white card here, so I'll put it onto my black. And then I'll put this one on. You can see the back, how it's bled through. That's why you always have to have some sort of protection down. Now I'm going to put some flowers on there just to decorate the front, and I've decided to use vellum. And again, the blends colour the vellum really good as well. It gives it a really nice soft look. So this is from the Pretty Floral Dies, and I'll just colour this flower in with Pumpkin Pie Blends. This is dark pumpkin pie. And this is also from the Pretty Florals die. I'll just put this bottom piece on. Now your adhesive does show through on the vellum, but if I put this bit on top, and when I go to stick the flowers down, I can put my adhesive underneath there. So I've got a couple that I've already pre-done, and I've done the vellum on this leaf die cut in vellum. So I'll stick this one, I might stick this down first. So I'll put my adhesive under that cardboard part. Yeah, it will show through a little bit on these leaves. That's okay. These ones, I'll just put the adhesive on the bottom there. Now, this is a chalkboard technique. It's to make it look like a chalkboard. I've just got a some white craft ink and a dauber which has got white craft ink on, and I'm just go across there and put a little bit of white to just give that sort of like chalky look to that. Now where will I put this leaf? Down here. And there's my second card. So that is called the coloured chalk technique, by using your blends on top of the white embossing. I've got a YouTube one about using your blends for a blended alcohol technique, which is absolutely gorgeous. And don't forget, you can also use your blends to colour in your designer series paper. So if you've got a fine line black and white paper, you can colour it in any colour you want. You can colour around the outside of your designer series paper to give like a shadow effect. You can colour in the background. Like, you can do so much with them, and just to change it and make things your own. So I hope you enjoyed those couple of projects, and that you will start using your blends more to do different. Just, it's trial and error, isn't it? It's just playing with them and having fun, and just seeing what you want to colour in and trying to see what surfaces work, and you'll find that the blends go on most surfaces. Yeah, so have fun. Thank you. Bye.